This is an organizational meeting, so we have to handle housekeeping or administrative matters. And I'd like to say that I'd like to acknowledge the presence of senators. The Senate President is here, Senate President Soto, the Minority Floor Leader is here, Senator Drilon, Senator Lacson, Senator Marcos, Senator Villanueva, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Lisa Ontiveros, and Senator Tolentino. Later on, they will be called on the basis of their early arrival. So in the meantime, this is the first meeting of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights on this 18th Congress. So we have to go through the preliminaries on our composition and membership. I would like to manifest the following members of the committee with each vice chairman and 7 members in the jurisdiction. For vice chairperson of the Committee on Justice, we have Senator Pampilo Lacson. And for members, we have Senator Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao, Senator Win Gatchalian, Senator Lapid, Senator Angara, Senator Pimentel, Coco Pimentel, Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan, and Senator Laino de Lima. The jurisdiction of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights, as provided in number 15, section 13, rule 10 of the Senate rules, the jurisdiction committee states that all matters relating to the organization and administration of justice, civil courts, penitentiaries, and reformatory schools, probation, impeachment proceedings against constitutional officers and other officers legally removable by impeachment, registration of land titles, immigration and naturalization, the implementation of the provisions of the Constitution and human rights, and all matters pertaining to the efficiency and reforms in the prosecution service. Chairman would like to manifest the applicability of the rules of the Senate in all the proceedings of the committee and the rules of procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. In cases where the committee performs its inherent oversight duty and conducts investigations on programs, activities, policy implementation, or other matters within its jurisdiction. I will now also... Yes, go ahead, Senator.
I don't know if it's premature, but I move to approve the rules. Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if it's premature, but I move to approve the rules of the committee.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
I move to approve the rules of the committee.
Second, no objection. The rules are hereby approved. Just for the information of everybody, the chair of the Blue Ribbon Committee has declared that we are going to motu proprio under the rules of the Senate Rule 10, Section 13. The Blue Ribbon Committee may undertake an investigation on any matter of public interest on its own initiative, motu proprio. There are maybe allegations of malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance, and graft and corruption, perhaps, on this matter. We're not prejudging, but we certainly would like the committee to be open to all these possibilities and be able to react to it. On the matter at hand, I'd like to proceed, if I may, with the permission of the Senate President and all the other members. On the matter at hand, which is first on the order of arrival, Senator Drilon, Senator Soto, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Tolentino, Senator Marcos, Senator Villanueva, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Pangilinan. And we will each have 5 minutes each, and we will tell you when the questioning is already sufficient in terms of time. In terms of substance, if you are pursuing a point, and the chair, with the permission of everyone, believes that the point is well taken, we will allow you an extension. I think that makes sense. On the other hand, we would now like to also tell you that the Blue Ribbon Committee is also being convened right now. Practically the whole Senate is a member of are members of the Blue Ribbon Committee. Today we are called upon to deal with matters that involve the very heart of justice. on August 20, nabulaga na lang po ang taong bayan na biglang lumabas na merong mga pinirmahan, di umano. Nag-umpisa muna doon sa pinakamabagsik na celebrated case, if you will, infamous case ni Mayor Sanchez na siya raw ay papalayain at we had comments from the Department of Justice na pwedeng mangyari yon dahil may batas, yung tinatawag natin good conduct time allowance, at ganoon rin si Prison Director Nick Paildon. Nabulaga pa tayo nung mabalitaan na merong at least mga 1,900 na napalaya na. At meron pang sinabi si Dr. Paildon na there was another 11,000 na papalabasin dahil dito sa batas ng good conduct time allowance. I was not a member of the Congress that approved this, so pati ako nabulaga. Dahil in our studies of law, talaga merong good conduct namang binabawas sa mga preso. Pero ito nakakabahala at naiintindihan ko ang feeling unang-una ng mga magulang o ng mga kamag-anak o kaanak ng mga tao na napatay o na-rape. At therefore, magugulat na lang sila dahil una, hindi man lang sila nasabihan na ito ay pangyayari. Sabi nga ni Mrs. Sarmenta, who's here right now, the pain came back. Eileen Sarmenta's mom, his ex-mayor's upcoming release. Sabi niya, as far as we know, it was supposed to be channeled to the Board of Pardons and Parole, and if he has a petition filed for a parole, dapat binigyan kami ng notice. I'm of the opinion na dapat kahit na hindi parole yan, dapat binibigyan ng notice ang mga parientos ng mga nasakdal at nakonvict. Dahil dyan, it created a maelstrom of protest from the public. Tama lang. Because una, hina-hijack natin ang justice system. Tila baga. Dahil silentensya na yung mga tao yan. Can you imagine, I don't mean to pick on Mayor Sanchez, but he is the poster boy at the moment. Convicted siya for 7 counts of rape with murder, life imprisonment. At meron pa siyang conviction, People versus Peñalosa, life imprisonment rin. So lumalabas na talagang ang laki-laking bukol, lalo na pag nalaman ng madla na ito ay naghingi ng permission for sa Board of Pardons and Parole ng siya ay mapatawad ng Pangulo at ito ay ni-reject. At ito ay nag-apply noong December, na-reject 2018 at noong 2019, February 17, ni-reject ulit, finally. So lumabas na alam na ng lahat na na-reject na yan. Pero mukhang hindi pinansin yan, tinuloy pa rin ang pagpapalaya akda para dito kay Mr. Sanchez. At nakakahinada pa ay ito ba ay dumaan sa tinatawag nating rule of law. Yung predictability ng isang batas, yung consistency, yung transparency. At para sa ganon, ang tao protektado. May batas na ginawa. Dapat meron dyan mga standards. Ano ba yung standards na ginamit sa good conduct? Ano ba yung consistency? Sino ba ang pinapapasok dyan sa mga mag-a-apply dyan? Alam ba ng mga tao yan? Yung transparency. At dahil dyan, kung di nalalaman yan, ilan niya sa mga rason, why kailangan malaman ng tao kung ano nangyayari sapagkat talagang ma-hijack ang sistema. Sa bilang ni Senator Lacson, if I'm not mistaken, sa over 1,900 cases that were filed, nakita that were napidaraan, mukhang almost 750 plus ay rapists and another 750 plus are murderers. The rest are kidnappers and robbers. No? Ayan, murder 797, rape 758, robbery with violence 274, violation of the Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 48, parricide 29, kidnapping with illegal detention 5, and destructive arson 3. Ang nakakagulang pa ay nabisto rin na merong 4 na Chinese na dangerous drugs violators na convicted rin for life. Pero bigla na lang ipinasa ngayon sa immigration at ngayon ay hinaharang na ngayon ng mga tao sapagkat hindi talaga tamang mangyari yan. So having said all that, I would like to say, unang-una, na dapat malaman natin kung yung pagbibigay ba ngayon ng kwan, merong mga masalimuot, kaya tayo nasa Justice Committee ngayon, ang pag-uusapan ay yung batas na GCTA. Ito ba ay dapat natin malaman na was the GCTA applied to these people? Dapat bang ma-apply yun? At ito ba ay alinsunod sa batas na ito ba ay dumaan? Alaman ba ng mga tao kung sino ang mga humusga dyan? At dapat lang ba na mabigay sa kanila yung tinatawag na karakarang pagpapalaya sa kanila, samantalang bumabangga ito dun sa mga issue na ito ba ay dapat kasama na kahit na may heinous crimes na committed o may mga habitual delinquency or recidivism or dating eskapo, ito ba ay dapat isama o hindi isama sa pagpapalaya ng convict, o ito lang ba ay dapat doon sa tinatawag nilang under preliminary investigation. Ako, sasabihin ko na sa inyo, karakaraka, ang aking sariling kuro-kuro ay kung pwede doon sa person under detention, sa imprisonment, lalong hindi dapat payagan kung heinous crimes doon sa convicted. Common sense na lang ho yan. At ang nakakagulanta nga ay dapat alam natin na itong mga gawain na ito na bagamat ito ay kasama sa filosofiya ng batas na reformatory, na rehabilitation ng batas, kakontra doon sa tinatawag ng lex talionis o yung classical theory na dapat parusahan at ikulong at parusahan ng gusto yung mga buwapatay o dapat pagbigyan sila ng pagkakataon. Yan ho ang mga nakataya sa mga usapin ngayon. Marami po nag-file ng batas ngayong na dapat baguhin. Isang pinahal ni Senator Soto at ang inyong banglangkod, sunundan ko siya, ay yung tinatawag nating batas na maghihiwalay sa mga life imprisonment o yung mga heinous crimes o mga drug convicted ng drug pushing. At ito po ay isa sa mga tatalakayin. At pati na rin po yung ating pinahal na bill ukol diretso dito sa good conduct discharge, good conduct allowance na binibigay, ay kung dapat ho ay maging more transparent, na dapat katulad sa ibang bansa, katulad ng Amerika, makikita ng mga tao kung sino nakakulong, gaano katagal na sila nakakulong, ano yung kanilang good conduct na ginagawa, at kung para malaman ng tao kung dapat talaga nabigyan ng paraan. Ang lumabas dito, pagpatawon nyo, Secretary Guevara at saka Mr. Faldon, ang lumalabas dito ay parang it came in like a thief in the night. Nabulagan na lang ang tao, napalalabasin na lamang. Hindi po kanais na isang bagay na yan. At kaya ngayon, nandito tayo na ngayon iniimbestiga natin. Hindi man lang binigyan ng payo o kinuha yung opinion ng mga sa ating kultura na dapat paalam naman doon sa mga nasaktan nitong mga presyonero ito. So hindi na po ako magpapakahaba sapagkat meron pa rin pong preliminary remarks na gagawin si Senator Lacson. Pero bago lahat, unahin ko lang po ang magpapakilala ng mga inimbita po natin at nais ko pong pabatid sa inyo na bukas itutuloy ko po ito para mabilis sapagkat we're in the budget process now. Gusto namin mabilis kagad ito para hindi na makahadlang sa pagpaproseso ng budget. May I call on the Secretary of the Senate, Justice Committee to now introduce all the guests or resource persons.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. For our resource person, we have Secretary Menardo Guevara from DOJ. From the DILG, represented by Yusek Rico Judge Echeverry. And we have the Director General of Bureau of Corrections, Yusek Nicanor Faldon. And he's with Attorney Frederick Anthony Santos, the Chief Legal Division. From the Bureau of Corrections also, we have Corrections Technical Chief Superintendent Maria Fe R. Marquez. From the Bureau of Jail Management Technology, is represented by Jail Chief Superintendent Ruel S. Rivera, the Deputy Chief for Administration, and he's with the Chief Legal Service, Jail Inspector Michael Caceres. From the PNP, we have General Tyrone Masigon, Attorney Al Paglinawan, Police Colonel Danilo Maserin, Police Colonel Alessandro Abella, General Dennis Basni. And we have from the NBI, Director Dante Geran. From the DOJ,
Yes, go ahead.
from the DOJ, from the former DOJ, we have Attorney Reynante Orseo, sir. And Executive Director, Board of Pardons Parole, Attorney Reynaldo Bayang. And we have the mother of Aileen Sarmenta, Mrs. Maria Clara Sarmenta. And the father of Aileen, Mr. Roberto Sarmenta. And the mother of Alan Gomez, Mrs. Ilumina Gomez. And the chairman, former founding chairman of ACC and the chairman of Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Dante Jimenez. And ACC President, we have Arsenio Evangelista. And Mr. Commissioner Manuelito Luna, Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, Office of the President.
Thank you. I would just like to point out that this is now a joint committee of the Committee on Blue Ribbon and the Committee on Justice. So I will now call on the Vice Chairman of the Committee on Justice and also a member of the Blue Ribbon Committee to make his preliminary remarks. But no more. I would like to ask everybody to stand up so they can be properly sworn.
All the resource persons, please.
And I will also call on Attorney Conchu of the Blue Ribbon Committee, because this is an investigation now on possible graft as well. So please.
Sir,
Senator Bato, you're already a senator. You don't have to stand up. You will hold it your oath of office. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, if I may add, we have additional guests from the Blue Ribbon side.
Yes. go ahead.
From the Board of Pardon and Parole, Attorney Reynaldo Bayang. From
Where is he?
the,
Can you raise your hand? There you go. Yes. Thank you.
and then we also have Mrs. Maria Clara Sarmenta, Roberto.
Already stated?
Already stated.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's only Attorney.
May I remind you also that we should invite the Secretary, although the Secretary of Justice is here, we will need to get the Commissioner on Immigration here, because they have the Chinese convicts in their custody right now. Go ahead.
Sir, could you request everybody to raise their right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this investigation? Please say I do, and take your seats. Thank you.
The Chair would like to announce that Senator Bongo is also present in the chamber. So now we shall now proceed. Out of courtesy, would the Senate President like to ask questions first?
Mr. Chairman, yes, indeed, the tradition dictates that the Senate President may be able to oppose or intervene anytime. But with due indulgence and the rules of the committee, I would like to abide by it. So after you give the floor to Senator Drilon, I will be next in rank, in line, but I am willing to give up my line for Senator Lacson and take his place afterwards.
Thank you. With the indulgence of my fellow senators here, we have two microphones here because there are too many of us, and we just don't want to make sure that there's a clash of microphones later on. Also, with the permission of the committee, there is a request from Mr. Falcon for 3 minutes to make a statement? Would the committee agree? No objection. Mr. Feldon, you now have the floor. By the way, we'd like to assure everyone here that this is going to be a fair and impartial investigation. Don't you for one moment think that you are being singled out, any of you. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, to the most honorable Chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, to the Senate President, sir, Senator Lacson, Senator Marcos, Senator Villanueva, Senator De Ronzer, Senator Lapid, Senator Tiveros, Senator Pangilinan, Senator De La Rosa, and Senator Bongo. We would like to briefly present to the body the way it has been done by the Bureau as far as the granting of GCT is concerned. So the legal department is the most competent to explain this quickly, how it was done since the prospective application of the law in 2014 and until it was stopped by the Secretary of Justice a few days ago. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry. You are the one who requested it. You cannot pass on the baton to somebody else.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I will explain it, sir. Since the prospective application of this law in 2014, after the passage of its implementing rules and regulation approved by the ILG Secretary, then Secretary Rojas and Justice Secretary Leila de Lima, these are the data that shows how it has been prospectively applied. It is clear to the Bureau of Corrections that Section 1 of Republic Act 10592, which talks about the preventive imprisonment, all heinous crime offenders, as far as their manual is concerned, were not granted time allowances. But as far as the Bureau is concerned, and based on their unified manual, which was later on passed, Section 3 of Republic Act 105, it talks about Articles 97 of the Revised Penal Code. It does not exclude any convict of any crime. That's why in their computation, upon conviction, all convicted of any crime, when they behave well in jail, were granted good conduct time allowance, the time allowance for studying, teaching and mentoring, and there's also a stall for the special time allowance for loyalty. But what is very clear in here is that the process they use was never changed, and the application of GCTA was never changed since 2004 up to this day. In the succeeding slides later on, you can notice that not a single PDL who has committed a heinous crime has been denied in whole of good conduct time allowance. Now, it was also briefed, and they all the members of those who have crafted here unanimously agreed that their interpretation of good conduct time allowance, it can only be suspended during the month that the infraction was committed. In the succeeding month that they behave well, the granting of good conduct time allowance will now resume, regardless of the gravity of this offense. So that is how they've been applying it. That's why even grave offenses like drugs confiscated inside their cells, they are only penalized for 1 month. And the succeeding month, they will now enjoy another good conduct time allowance. This has been their application since 2014 up to this day, based on this manual. That's why, if you can see, there is a continuous releases through granting of GCTA to even heinous crime offenders because of their current interpretation of the Section 3 of Republic Act 10592, which grants, based on Penal Code number 97, which grants GCTA to all convicts, regardless of the nature of their offense. In first 4 months of the application of prospective application of this law, you can see that there were already 194 up to 2016 convicted of rape that were released because they were granted prospectively of GCTA. In the old GCTA, the number of days they earn is small, but in the new law, it was adjusted to the first 2 years to 20 days, 3 years to 5 years, it becomes 23, and then from 5 years to 10 years, it becomes 25, and on their 11th year, and so forth, it becomes 30 years. And when they also engage, 30 days. So, every 1 month of
Excuse me.
Okay na.
Yes, sir.
I would like to hear the view of the Secretary of Justice on the matter of heinous crimes.
Meron na?
Because I read something in the paper that you have a contrary view. Can you please elucidate?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What the Chief of the Bureau of Corrections said seems to be the prevailing rule before public outrage happened in the case of Mayor Sanchez. So up to that point, it was technically a possibility that he may actually enjoy the benefit of the GCPA law, precisely because of the interpretation given since 2014 to that provision that, more particularly Section 3 of Republic Act number 10592, which says that sentenced prisoners or convicted prisoners will or can avail of the benefits of good conduct time allowance as follows, without making an express qualification as to whether or not these sentenced prisoners are guilty of heinous crimes or not. So that seems to have been the basis for the practice since 2014 on the matter of granting GCPAs, regardless of the crimes committed. Now, we had an opportunity to review the provisions of this law enacted in 2013 because of the public outcry, and we thank that this incident happened because it proved to be a blessing in disguise. We, at the Department of Justice, reviewed the law even more carefully and tried to harmonize the various provisions that seem to be not consistent with each other. In Section 1 of that law, Mr. Chairman, which pertains solely to the grant of time credit for preventive imprisonment. All right, so that was the subject of Section 1, grant of time credit for preventive imprisonment. What are we referring to when we say preventive imprisonment? Those who are detained while charges are pending in court before them during trial. All right, so that may be credited against them, the actual time that they were preventively imprisoned.
Excuse me, and the reason for that is marami talagang nakakulong under preventive imprisonment na naabutan nila yung maximum sentence na ibibigay ng batas dahil mabagal ang korte.
Exactly.
Tama yun.
That is correct.
So yan talaga ang unang pakay nitong batas na ito. Ang problema ngayon, tatawid tayo, naghalo na pati doon sa convicted prisoners. Tama po ba yan?
Tama po yun, because in that same provision, Mr. Chairman, on preventive imprisonment, there was a line inserted that says that habitual delinquents, escapees, recidivists, and those charged with heinous crimes are not covered by the provisions of this Act. So there is one sweeping statement found in a section that pertains solely to preventive imprisonment. Had it been a sole provision by itself, one entire section stand alone that says that habitual delinquents, recidivists, escapees, and persons convicted of heinous crimes or charged with heinous crimes are not covered by the benefits under this act, then probably there would be no confusion. However, we at the Department of Justice try to harmonize Section 1 with Section 3. And if we think, as you correctly pointed out earlier, Mr. Chairman, that if a person merely charged with heinous crime is already not given the benefit of preventive imprisonment, and he's just being charged, what more if that person has already been convicted of a heinous crime? So we,
Of absurdity, right? Yung mga batas dapat basahin in a manner that avoids absurdity or unreasonableness.
exactly, we apply also
Yes,
that
sir.
particular provision or statutory construction
Opo.
rule, Mr. Chairman. So we came up with this conclusion after very serious and careful study that the proper interpretation of that law, insofar as the exclusions are concerned, would be to exclude those convicted of heinous crimes from the benefit of the good conduct time allowance law.
That is the position now of the Secretary of
That
Justice.
is the present position of the DOJ under my administration,
Thank you.
Mr. Gordon.
Please proceed, Mr. Felder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, with the current position of the Secretary, that is already now being adopted by the entire Bureau. That's why we are conducting this review of the manuals and a possible review of the other existing guidelines that we are using until such time that this has been resolved. But again, until the pronouncement of the Secretary, the procedure applied by the Bureau of Corrections since 2014 up to that day was that they included
With the permission of my colleagues here. Also, yung pag-review niya ng good conduct, malabo eh. Hindi nag-uniform yan si Sanchez. May sarili siyang kwarto. Tatlo ang pilos. May sarili siyang mga aparador. May telepono siya, may TV siya. Infraction, violation na rules yan. Ano ba ang ginamit nyo doon sa good conduct na kinukompute nyo? Yun ang isang rason kung bakit tumataas at ang kilay at galit ang tao dahil alam na napakalaki ng ginawa niyang kasalanan sa tao sa pag-rape at pagpatay at ilang beses pumapatay ng tao, pagkatapos biglang good conduct, mabubura lahat yun. Ano bang klase batas yan sinasabi natin?
I perfectly agree with the observation of the chair, sir. That's why I stopped the processing of his
Paliwanag nyo nga yung good conduct habang nag-represent na kayo. Paano nyo ginawa yung good conduct na sa mga yan?
May I request the Honorable Chair to allow me to pass in to the experts?
Pakibilisan mo lang. Pakibilisan mo. Bakit expert? Hindi ba ikaw expert? We don't do this by agency. You are the chairman. You are the Director General of the Bureau of Iba yung title mo, Director General?
Yes, sir. I was explaining that a while ago, sir, so I will continue, sir. So, the granting of GCTA is based on the good conduct described under this manual. And good conduct means that they have not violated any of these 49 infractions enumerated here, and then they participated in any of the 6 reformation programs. These are sports, studies, religion, and others. So when they officially entered into those 6 activities and they did not violate any of these provisions, then they are considered good conduct for that month.
And alutin mo yan, kasi hindi nahuli ni Senate President kanina yan eh. Ang inyong analysis, a good conduct for that month alone? Sa buwan na yun, sa isang buwan lang?
The manual says that the awarding of good conduct is per month, sir. And when you violate some prison rules, you will only be denied of good conduct during that month only, sir. That is what the manual is.
Sino ba gumawa ng manual? Kayo?
It's a joint committee between the DOJ and the ILG. done previously before.
Sino yun? Sino gumawa?
I would like
Para
to point,
matawag rin namin yan.
I would like to point out one of the undersecretaries before, who is, I think, one of the former USEC, Perseo, sir.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Your Honors. Yes,
Be brief. Listen nyo lang agad.
yes, during the time of then the hearing and then OIC, VALG, they formed,
Can you speak to the microphone?
they formed a committee wherein to have an operational manual of the implementing laws and regulations. So the idea of the operational manual is to harmonize the different approaches being implemented by the various government
No, ang
agencies.
tanong ko, simple lang. Kayo ang gumawa 1 month lang.
Yes, so that's in the law, Your
Good
Honor.
conduct.
That's in the law, Your Honor.
Naka-apply imprisonment yan, 1 month lang ang sasabihin nyo, lalabas na.
Because the law said the GCP is given each month. 30 days each month for you have to meet a PFL in prison for more than 11 years. It does not say not more than 30 months. It just says 30 months each month.
Ano?
It's in the law. It's in the Public Act 592.
Di ba dapat the Secretary of Justice should make those corrections before it even gets out of hand?
Precisely, Mr. Chair, that's the reason why the Department of Justice and the Department of the Interior and Local Government recently came up with a joint department order for the creation of a joint committee to review the implementing rules and regulations.
Ngayon na lang, sir, ngayon na lang. Pero for that matter, hindi ba dapat kung nalalaman na no, mga ibang miyembro ng Bucor o ng BJMP na mali yan, mukhang hindi tama, dapat sinabi na sa inyo para you can lobby in Congress so that we could have amended this law. Would that be correct?
That could have been done, Mr.
In
Chair.
other words, leaders within the government should be able to spot, may mali itong law na ito, bakit namin kukunin lang 1 month? Samantalang, ito ay life imprisonment, paano mo palalabasin yan? But anyway, please proceed, Mr. Pelnon, para mabilis na tayo, para makapagtanong na init na si Senator Dillon.
Yes, sir. That's why up to the time that the Supreme Court came out with the retroactive application of Republic Act 10592 to retroactively apply to all prisoners, we announced the possible release of more or less 11,000 PDLs because they may benefit from the retroactive application of the law. And we announced it also that that includes all those who have committed heinous crimes, including Mayor Sanchez. And then in July 20, several recommendations for release arrived into my office. And then one of the draft, the recommendation for release is Antonio Sanchez. Now, prior to that date, I have been discussing how we can legally stop the release of Mayor Sanchez. Because I know that, because I'm not a lawyer, so I know that he may have done a lot of infractions because of those. I saw on television some of those drugs that were found in his room, I think twice, and then yung kanyang kubol. But the explanation to me by the legal officers is that the manual says that it is only during that month that those violations were done that the GCTA can be deducted from him. But for the rest of the months that there are no infractions, GCTA will continue to be granted to any PDL.
Okay, ano ba?
But continuously, almost 1 week, I contested that why are we releasing prisoners like Sanchez? But because that is the law, that is their explanation to me.
Let me just have one question. Do you have minutes of these meetings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Of the discussions in every meeting when you were drafting the memo, these rules and regulation, or when you were passing on the good conduct of prisoners, do you have minutes? Answer the question, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Meron sila, sir.
Because
Because
you bring all those minutes here, particularly on the matter of the poor Chinese and all the others with dangerous crimes, I would like, and the committee would like to see what sort of discussion occurred.
We will, Your Honor.
And by the way, who appointed all the people? Ikaw lang ang pipirma eh. Bureau of Correctional lang ang pipirma. In the case of PJMP, siya lang ang pipirma eh. Di ba dapat common sense, alam nyo na ikaw ang hot seat dyan. Dapat nag-iingat ka, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. I rely on the expertise of those who have even participated in the
But why should
drafting
you
of the-
be therefore director of prisons when you have to rely on others? Why don't we just appoint the person you're relying on? Because when you are there, ikaw ang in charge.
Yes, Your
Pag-aarap
Honor.
ka rito, ikaw ang in charge.
Yes, Your Honor. So the due diligence I've been doing is to ask them personally, ask them the implication of this law and to these people that are supposed to be. And then they could, in fact, the lawyer beside me says that if you release these PDLs with heinous crime through GCTA, there can never be a case filed against you because it's legal. But if you hold them, then there may be a case against you. They came to that point of convincing me that releasing them is the legal way of doing it, Your Honor.
Nakikinig ako sa'yo, pero with the permission of my colleagues, ito, bibilis ako na ito para mabilis. Isa lang. 9 life imprisonment cases ang dapat death, pinabayan. Deterang natin ang death penalty. Hindi ka nagugulat, nabibigyan mo ng good conduct yan?
Ako, sir, personally, hindi talaga dapat.
Ha?
Personally, sir, hindi dapat.
Hindi
My
dapat.
personal
Pero
view is, hindi
yung mga
dapat
bata,
bigyan.
sinasabi, alam mo. Ikaw ba'y pumirma doon sa kanilang order na i-release yan?
There is no order yet to release, Your Honor. There is a, as far as the ex-mayor is concerned, there is a memorandum of release recommended for his release.
By whom?
Recommended to me from through channel up to the Deputy Director General for Operations, and it reaches my
Let
office.
the buck stops with you. Did you sign that order or not?
I did not sign the order to officially release Sanchez.
Bakit sinasabi ng mga bata, nung tinawag sila, pagdating doon, kinocongratulate na sila ng lahat ng mga tao doon sa Bureau of Prisons. At sinabi pa sa iyo, akala namin, Director, sir, pinayagan nyo na. In fact, naganda na yung mga bata, dadali sa Japanese restaurant yung mga nagtatay, dadali sa eye doctor.
There was never a completed release order of ex-mayor Sanchez, sir. There was never an official release order.
Was he fingerprinted?
None, sir.
I was told that he was fingerprinted. Remember, you're on the road.
Yes, sir. I checked that. We checked that yesterday. If he was fingerprinted, he was not, sir.
Are you, mabilis ako.
Yes, sir. But I signed a memorandum order that is the signal to process all the papers. But that is after I have continuously consulted with the lawyers. Why are we signing this? Now,
You can
minutes
consult
after
as
that,
long as you want,
Yes,
to
sir.
sign the memorandum order to start the process. Is that correct?
I stopped the process, sir.
So, pumayag ka, start the process. Alam mo na nangingi ng permiso yan for executive clemency 6 months before. Alam mo na dinayan. Tama po ba yan?
I don't know of that.
How can you not
information.
know? Bureau of Partners and Parolya, di ba kayo nagkukonsultahan? Alam mo, dinayan. Ngayon, nag-a-apply siya sa iyo, papayagan niyo, ipapaprocess mo, di mo alam yan? Come on. You're a Marine, a captain.
Sir, the application of the law, sir, does not, that is their explanation to me, does not distinguish up to the time that the Secretary says.
No, but there is such a thing as your own judgment.
Exactly, sir. That's,
Especially, halimbawa dito sa mga drug pushers na pinawalan. Ikaw ba rin ang pumirma yan? Siyempre, ikaw.
exactly, sir. That's why I stopped the process of release of PTL Sanchez because I believe he is not entitled.
You were
to this-
appointed by the President known for his battle against drugs, for his war against drugs. You were appointed as Customs Commissioner. Then you were appointed as Undersecretary do sa Civil Defense ba yun? And then you were appointed another opportunity for you to run the Bureau of Prisons. In spite of your record na hindi ka nag-a-abide, doon sa kudeta ka, tumakas ka, nung hinuhuli ka, yan ang record mo. Ang laki ng tiwala sa iyo ng Pangulong Duterte. Hindi ba tumalikod ka sa tiwala sa iyo ni President Duterte na papalayain mo itong mga drug pushers na ito? Papadala mo sa immigration, ikaw ang pumirma? Kahit na sabihin mo paano mo musulto ka,
the buck stops with you.
Yes, Your Honor. I would appreciate if I would have a discretion to not follow the rules. But as we look at the data, sir, since 2004 up to 2016, there are already 105 drug persons that were released to GCPA.
But that is your call, di ba? Lahat yan dumaan sa'yo.
I would
Hindi
like,
ba, halimbawa, kung may remorse itong si Mayor Sanchez, nababasa ko, wala siyang remorse eh. In fact, sinasabi niya hanggang ngayon, hindi siya. Sinasabi niya yung si Kit Alqueza. Tinignan mo ba kung nagbayad na siya ng civil damages sa mga magulang, sa mga pamilya nitong napatay niya, at saka yung court cost, tinignan mo ba yun? Now, pag tinignan mo lang siya, at sasabihin mo, yan eh, hindi ko call yan eh, nasa batas yan eh. Then, taw-tawuhan ka dyan. Di ba? Wala kang discretion, wala kang man lang sabihin na napakadelikado na situation na hindi lang para sa iyo, but sa susunod pa, Director ng Bureau of Prisons, kayo lang ang mag-decide. Lalampasan nyo yung sinabi ng husgado, lalampasan nyo yung Bureau of Pardons and Parole, lalampasan nyo under the Constitution, Presidente lang ang pwede magbigay ng parole, magpatawad, pero ikaw ngayon ang tanging tao lamang na magpapalaya, magpuputol ng sentensya. Dapat nag-iingat ka. Tama ba yun?
yes, Your Honor. The discretion was removed by this manual, Your Honor.
That manual is man-made by a commission that you created, or by the DILG and DOJ, correct? And by the way, Mr. Orseo, you are undersecretary. Wala sa batas yung sinasabi mo. Nasa manual yun. Ano? Saan?
Actually, it's in section 97 of the Penal Code, but it was amended by section 3 of RA 1592.
Dito mo tayo. Mapakita natin dyan. By the way, Senator Subiri is also here. Basahin mo.
Yes, annexes here.
Manual yung binabasa mo. Nandun sa manual, pero wala sa batas yan.
It's in the annexes, Your Honor. It's part of the annexes
Annexes?
of this manual. The law is part of this annexes, Your Honor.
Saan? It only speaks of he shall be allowed a deduction of 30 days during the 11 and successive years for each month of good behavior during detention. But that doesn't mean that you're giving him 1 month lang yung kanyang titignan. Ang layo nun. Ito for computing lang the deduction. Pero 1 month para sabihin mo pwede ka na?
Your Honor, when the committee decided on whether to give the full credit of, say, 30 days, we debated on whether to give that CTL a full credit for its violation or nothing at all.
And look at where we are now because you gave full credit. Look at where we are now. There is now ang laki-laking lamat ng batas ngayon sa atin. Kawawa yung mga taong pinatay, yung mga pamilya nila. Did you ever consider that for one moment?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes.
And you were willing to sacrifice na nahirapan na yung mga tao?
There is discretion to interpret the law otherwise because the law said 30 days per month.
Can you read the law, please? Mayroon naman tayo ng laro, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
During the 11th and successive years of his imprisonment, he shall be allowed a deduction of 30 days for each month of good behavior during the time. Sinasabi lang yun, dinideduct mo 30 days of good behavior. Pero pag papalabasin mo, kailangan tignan mo yung buong taon. Lahat ng kanyang pinasilbihan. And by the way, can you put out the rules ang sinagay dyan sa manual, rules niya, nakalagay dyan, hindi naka-uniforme. Pakita niyo yung retrato ni Sanchez na nakakulong, walang uniforme. Violation yan. Pakita niyo yun, nahuli sa may TV. Violation yan. Paano yung magiging good conduct? Preso Caballero ang tawag dyan. Di ba totoo, Mr. Secretary of Justice, public knowledge yan. Kung pumasok ka, Mr. Peldon, kung pumasok ka, may mga naka-cellphone doon. Anong bayad dyan sa mga cellphone na yan? Ilang beses na ako pumasok yan, nakikita. Paano may cellphone ang mga tao dito? Nakakapag-concert. Kung ano na lang.